I welcome you all. It's going to be a 1-hour workshop, and our session is going to look at grassroots activism, how the Period Equality Network East Africa unites against social and cultural injustices. And most of the people who are in this session are from the East Africa region, and they could say hi to you, and we are so happy to be here. I work as the program manager at 𝗖𝗓𝑖𝑠e Institute, East Africa, and I will be sharing more about our work. But before we proceed, I would like to invite our regional director, who is Lilian Bagala, who is going to deliver her opening remarks. And then I will continue with my sharing, and then I will finally invite our moderator, who will be leading a panel. I request that you can share some of the questions and comments in the chat box, and feel free to engage. Thank you so much. I would like to invite Lilian Bagala to unmute and deliver the opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patricia, and I'd like to take this opportunity. The organizers of this, we are grateful to the 𝗘𝗾𝘂𝗹𝘁𝗀 Feminists for the opportunity given to us as part of the groups that they feel we have made some contributions to the menstrual health movement, and thus we are here to deliver and share the menstrual justice work that we have been up to within the region of East Africa. Thank you so much, Nanda, for inviting us to this wonderful conference, where it has been a very eye-opener. During the morning session, there has been a lot of sharing from the panelists, and we hope in the breakout session, we will be able also to share from our perspective what has been working. Menstrual justice is still an issue, like we can all recognize that in order for us to achieve the gender equality that we want, we must give focus to the issues that limit women and girls to go very far in their lives. Therefore, amplifying their voices about menstrual issues and involving them in all our advocacy processes, speaking to the duty bearers is something that is key. And for us as 𝗖𝗓𝑖𝑠e East Africa, we are specifically working through the grassroots organizations. Why? Because they understand the communities where they are working. They understand the cultures. They understand how to penetrate with a deep sense of ownership when it comes to menstrual justice issues. So I think dwell so much on the remarks, but be able to listen to different panelists that we have who are going to share how some of them are using feminist art, for instance, to speak about menstrual injustices, to expose the social and cultural norms that affect the girl child, and the women as a whole. We are going to be looking at how some of them are looking at mental health and how it relates or affects the menstruators. We are going to look at some of them in the rural, very rural communities, how they are looking at dismantling those cultural beliefs within their settings. So allow me in a special way again to really convey my thankfulness to you, Nanda, and the Purple Feminist team for convening this conference on menstrual equity. And we are proud that we could be able to share in the different parts of the world. Thank you so much. Over to you, Patricia.
Thank you so much, Lillian, for those powerful remarks. Thank you for welcoming us to this amazing workshop. And thank you so much, Nanda, for inviting us to join the global network in sharing our perspectives and the work we are doing on promoting menstrual equity. So I am excited to share with you about us, and I will be sharing my screen. I hope that you can all see it, and yes. So once again, I'm called Patricia Humura, and I work with the 𝗖𝗓𝑖𝑠 Institute East Africa as the program manager. And to know more about our organization, you can click on this link on our website that we have developed and we are currently improving. Our session is basically about grassroots activism, how we are uniting. We in the East African community, the menstrual health constituents in the East African community are uniting against the social and cultural injustices. 𝗖𝗓𝑖𝑠 Institute East Africa is a women's rights organization that was established by a group of young women in 2016 to address the invisible challenges that are faced by many women and girls due to period poverty. And we are headquartered in Kampala, Uganda, although we have field offices. We have a field office in Eastern Uganda, and we work through different partners in the East African community to promote our goal and vision, which is a world in which women and girls, where women and girls are unlimited by periods. The picture you can see are some of our students whom we've engaged with menstrual health expert and trainer Joyce, as they are showing some of their menstrual frock cups that they are using. And just like I have mentioned, our vision is a world in which women and girls are unlimited by periods. And we are working in different areas these are the areas of intervention that we are working in to promote menstrual justice, to end period poverty. One is promoting period positive communities, and following the discussions earlier, most of the speakers were highlighting how communities do not how people in communities do not know how to use pads, especially the girls, or how to use menstrual products, how they are not quite informed about their about their menstruation. So for us, we would want them to be informed, but also to enjoy their menstruation, to ensure that they are menstruating with a positive mindset so that they do not get stressed. And then we are also promoting economic empowerment, and this is through the young women we work with to support some of their economic or income generating activities. However, our way of working is building their capacity, connecting them to the best trends that are in line with the economics or economies, and supporting them to integrate into their systems, into their work, especially issues to do with areas, not issues actually, businesses that support menstruation, like making pads, standardized reusable pads, and hygiene materials like making soap. And we're happy to have some of them here. And then we also do advocacy for policy change. So in the East African community, we appreciate how government is working to promote menstrual health, but we also want to partner with the government to ensure that we address some of the issues together that are happening. And that's why we are pushing for menstrual health policies, frameworks, and implementation of strategic plans, or strategic plans that have been put up, or different tools that are used by countries. And then we have building grassroots networks, and that is where I'll speak more about the period equality network that we are hosting, that we work with, where we work with the network. We mapped out the menstrual health constituency so that we speak with one voice and act together, and we are building each other. So basically, this is the logo of the Period Equality Network. It's commonly known as the 𝗔𝗰𝗁. And so the network was established in 2021. We started as 30 organizations, but we wanted to be a group of people of organizations in the East African community that are pushing for period equality, especially at the grassroots level. And we also discovered that there are very many organizations in our community that are doing work around menstrual health, but we were scattered. So that is why we established the network. Most of the network members work at the grassroots, but we also have those who are well established, and we also have those who are not working at the grassroots. But what matters, we have one vision that is focused on championing menstrual health, especially menstrual health advocacy at the grassroots. So we work together, we share resources, we have an email thread, we have a mailing list, we have a WhatsApp group, and we also have different resources that we use. And then we access learning, training, and be part of the community to support our work and advocacy. And I think for us, we appreciate the network because people who are in the network, organizations that are in the network, they do different activities in line with menstrual health. However, they are experts in their own ways. So we also learn from them as they also learn from us. And I'm happy to share that we have some network members on this call, in this workshop. So feel free to share that you're there and that you're happy to be on the call. So the network is composed of 160 members, and they are from Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, Burundi, and South Sudan. And we are happy to expand into the Democratic Republic of Congo as well. So the network members come from these areas. We started as 30, and as I speak of today, we are 160 members. And this is how we are working to contribute to advancing menstrual justice. So as 𝗓𝗏 Institute East Africa, we mainly work with a network, and we recently worked to have the Menstrual Justice Academy. So basically, the previous speakers were speaking more to, I was actually noting down how we really struggle with menstrual health education, our bodies, our reproductive health, and we do not make informed choices, among others. And the reason as to why we established the Menstrual Justice Academy was to co-create, to understand, and engage in impactful campaigns, especially at the national and grassroots level, to tackle what menstrual injustice is. We realized that we were doing a lot of menstrual health, period poverty, but we didn't know we didn't understand whether our constituency understood what is menstrual injustice. What is this injustice? We wanted them to know that that actually there are lots of iniquities. However, we can't be the ones to utter them. We want them to understand them and tell us, because people are experiencing different challenges and they know different issues. So it would be good to share more about them. So with support from the Foundation for a Just Society, we had to establish this academy, and we started with 20 members, and these members are in the Period Equality Network. And this was this academy had when we had to map them out because of the work they were doing and the unique areas. Some were working in menstrual health, some were working in menstrual health and mental health, others with people living with disabilities, others in areas affected by especially in the refugee settings. So we wanted to have a diverse of people so that we understand the aspects of menstrual injustice. And this was a 5 days training, and we had other members from the East African community. We had from Burundi, from Kenya, from Tanzania, and from Uganda. So we wanted them to, one, understand what menstrual injustice is, and in our panel we are going to hear some of the people as they did their activities, what they discovered, and then we also wanted them to take action. There is identifying an issue, there is identifying that a group of women does not know how to use their products, but there is also taking action to create the awareness, to reach out to the stakeholders, to the government. Look, there is this challenging issue. And then we also wanted that they identify solutions, and we wanted that we engage them to work with the different policymakers to push access for menstrual justice resources. And then we wanted to learn from them, collaborate, and network. And I'm happy to share that we had a faculty for the menstrual justice. The faculty was composed of experts in menstruation, and we had one great feminist and great advocacy and policy influencer, Ms. 𝗍𝗏𝗀𝗃𝗃, and then we had 𝗍𝗰𝗍𝗀𝗃. And these are some of the participants who participated actively in the Menstrual Justice Academy. It was composed of sessions, identifying some of the advocacy issues and making work plans so that when they get back to their organizations, they improve their programming, they improve on ways how they map out the stakeholders. And we are very happy that some of them have already started working, a reason as to why we have a panel that is going to speak more to that. Still, these are some of the panel participants and then the faculty. We were also happy to have a PhD researcher, 𝗔𝗰𝗁𝗁𝗁, who shared information, who shared some of the things she had discovered in our country, but also did speak more especially to period poverty and to addressing some of the complex issues that are faced by women and girls. And that is where she spoke more to issues to do with wash, issues to do with the menstrual products. Are these menstrual products friendly? Are they comfortable? Is there choice for menstrual products, or we are just having one specific product? And these are some of the participants, and we are so proud of them because most of them have already started implementing. So besides the specific unique panel that is going to be featured because they've already taken action, we did also participate in the national and local engagements to ensure that people understand menstruation is just not just an issue, but it is a gender equality issue. Women are experiencing it, but our workplace is friendly. Are we speaking about some of the challenges they are facing? And that is when we had to engage in the National Menstrual Health commemorations. And so for us, what we do, we convene, we inform people that, oh, there is this day, and let's work with the government. As you can see, the picture on my left, these are some of the menstrual health champions that were awarded by the Ministry of Health. And most of them are in our network. Most of them did take part. They're doing different work. And at the regional level, we also did participate at the Women Deliver Conference. on my right, we can see amazing menstrual health leaders who did share their experiences in their communities, how they are working to change the negative norms, to challenge some of the practices, negative practices that have been normalized, yet they are really dangerous, if they are risky and affect us as women. And one of the speakers did speak more on how they say menstrual blood is dirty. It's something dirty coming out of your body. It's not only a challenge in their area, but it's also a challenge in our areas. Some people really still feel that, or know that if you're menstruating, you're dirty, you should not be in public. And these are some of the things that we are challenging. And thank you so much for listening. I would request that if you have any questions, you can share them in the chat box, so that before we can go to the next agenda, you can let us know so that we can address them. Thank you so much. And I will warmly request my colleague, 𝗍𝗂𝘀𝘀𝗿𝐶𝑐𝗁𝘀, to take on the next session that is having amazing panelists. She will be introducing them, and she will be asking them questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Patricia, for the insightful presentation. It was really insightful, and it was showing everything that we have done as 𝗖𝑅ISE Institute East Africa. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our regional coordinator, Lillian Bagala, who gave the opening remarks. Thank you so much for being part of this. Today, I am your moderator in this session. I am 𝗍𝗂𝘀𝘀𝗿𝐶𝑐𝗁𝘀, the Programs Officer, Advocacy, Communication, and Partnerships. I work with 𝗖𝑅ISE Institute East Africa, which has been already talked about by Lillian and Patricia, my colleagues. So in this session, I am going to introduce to you our panelists. We have around 3 panelists who are going to present about period equity in Uganda and how they are using different channels and models to achieve period equity in Uganda. Our first panelist will be 𝗍𝗂𝘀𝘀𝗿𝐶𝑐𝗁𝘀, who works with 𝗍𝗂𝘀𝘀𝗿𝐻 initiative. She is using feminist art to be able to achieve menstrual equity, to also debunk the myths and misconceptions that are spread around menstrual health and menstrual hygiene. That is her profile there. Her screen has been shared. Please look through. You can give your reactions using your emojis. It can be a thumbs up, it can be a smiley emoji, anything, please. This is a participatory discussion and engagement, so please take part. And our next panelist will be Ismail Kawoya, who works with Kalika Kasome Initiative, who is a WASH champion. WASH, when I mention WASH, I mean water, hygiene, and sanitation. Hygiene. He is using WASH to be able to champion menstrual equity and to be able to advocate for menstrual equality here in Uganda. And our last panelist will be Esther Nakaiza from Awesome Mind Speaks, who is using mental health advocacy to be able to advocate for menstrual health, hygiene, and equality here in Uganda. Those are our 3 lovely panelists. You can see them on the screen that Patricia has shared. Please don't fail to react. Share how you feel about our panelists. They'll speak more about themselves and they'll speak more about what they do better. And then we shall also have a Q&A session that will be going on right after they have presented. But while they present, just in case you've not understood anything, or you want more clarity on something, or you want to ask more questions, please use the chat box, send in your questions. We shall respond to each one of your questions. Thank you so much. Right now, I would like to invite 𝗍𝗂𝘀𝘀𝗿𝐶𝑐𝗁𝘀, please take it on and tell us how you are using feminist art to be able to advocate for menstrual equality in Uganda. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth, for the introduction. And also, I'd like to say good morning to everyone, those that are in our time zone and also those that are in another time zone as well. I hope you're having a good day. Like Elizabeth introduced me, my name is 𝗤𝗂𝘀𝗀𝗍𝗂, and I lead a team at 𝗔𝗂𝗏 Initiative. 𝗔𝗂𝗏 means my voice, and 𝗔𝗂𝗏 stands for my voice, but in a 𝗘𝗾𝘂 language. So how we have been able to use feminist art to advance menstrual justice is that first and foremost, we know that what our organization looks at and focuses on amplifying girls' and women's voices through removing barriers to girls' education. And the specific barrier that we look at is period poverty and stigma or menstrual injustice. And we thought of different ways of how can we normalize this conversation? How can we have education, aspects of education, advocacy, empowerment, artistic expression, but also build empathy and encourage safe and open dialogues. And we thought of art. And we crafted a campaign called Let Art Be My Voice, where we're able to use art as a voice to promote gender equality, but also respond and also look at prevention of GBV, that is gender-based violence. So how we use it is basically we use art to facilitate education, menstrual education with children and even people in the community, just like it has been displayed there. For specifically, we had the privilege to work with different partners under the Menstrual Justice for All project, and we were able to have dialogues with children and also collaborate with the other partners with the conversations around the myths and the stigma that the children, the girls face, but also the children have and they know. And we learned different things, for example, knowing that there are different myths, like girls are not supposed, when they are on their menstruation, they're not supposed to pass in a garden or go through a garden having pumpkins, or else it will dry. So those were new things that we learned. Or they're not supposed to be at a junction or a road junction or cross a road. And such myths as well, we got to have conversations around them, but then understand the components that are under menstrual justice. For example, the children were able to draw out these components together and collaborate amongst each other, draw out these components, name them, give their understanding of them, but also write their commitments that they have within their school and also within their school and their community. It was both boys and girls, knowing that these boys as well were making commitments on how they're going to support and be allies to their fellow students who are girls. So they would give commitments like, I would make sure I'm able to support her when I know she has stained her skirt or something of that sort in class. I won't laugh at her. So I'll make sure that the environment doesn't create an atmosphere of stigma and such things. Some of them talked about their daughters through this whole conversation and seeing that they'll be able to support them, but also highlighted the different actors in achieving and advancing menstrual justice. They talked about how it's everyone's responsibility to see that we have an ecosystem that allows this conversation to be normal, and that it is not a barrier to any of the girls and any of the people that experience and are menstruating. So we've used it as an advocacy tool where these commitments are placed in their specific schools and in their specific schools, for example, where they know there is that famous mango tree in the school or that famous corner in the school, so that one, it rallies them up and that conversation is present within their schools and communities. So yes, that's how we are using feminist art to advance menstrual justice. Thank you very much. Over to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you for championing advocacy for menstrual justice here in Uganda. Thank you for your insights, and we appreciate. For those who have any questions, please put them in the chat box, or you can ask later during our Q&A session. Thank you so much. At this moment, I would like to invite 𝗬𝗲𝗍𝗂𝗍 from 𝗘𝗀𝘂𝗁𝗂𝗍 Initiative to come and share with us what he has for us today around advocating for menstrual justice in Uganda. Thank you so much. 𝗬𝗲𝗍𝗂𝗍, over to you. Ready?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Uganda and all over the world. My name is Ismail Sentongo. I work with 𝗘𝗀𝘂𝗁𝗂𝗍 Foundation, a grassroots organization that is located in 𝗕𝗵𝗁 district. I am very much humbled and privileged to have worked with everyone under Period Equality Network, but vote of thanks to 𝗖𝗓𝗍𝗔 Institute East Africa and Foundation for Just Society. We have engaged communities in 𝗕𝗵𝗁 district. We have engaged local government leaders. We have engaged cultural leaders and schools in 𝗕𝗵𝗁 district to end menstrual injustices. At first, we were not giving a focus on menstrual justice. All our focus was around menstrual hygiene. Everything was rotating around only pads. But we got the opportunity to learn and learn with the 𝗖𝗓𝗍𝗔 Institute, and we focused on injustices in the communities around 𝗕𝗵𝗁 district. We worked in about 3 schools. That's Manyogaseka, 𝗕𝗵𝗁 High, 𝗕𝗵𝗁 Quality. 3 schools, 1 primary and 2 secondary schools. We found out a lot of things that are happening, and it was very unfortunate that in the rural communities there are still a lot of injustices, even committed by what we could term as leaders. We engaged about 300 students, and we realized that most of these schools have no pit latrines. Those with pit latrines, they are not separated between boys and girls. They're using the common pit latrines. These girls are stigmatized. The boys are laughing at them, including male teachers are laughing at these girls who go into their menstruation. It was very absurd that most of the schools had no safe spaces for girls to change pads, for girls to be cancelled, most especially those that are going into their menses for the first time. We also found out that men in the communities felt burdened by buying sanitary pads for their daughters. And some men were giving away their girls for early marriages because they thought they could not afford sanitary pads. It was very, very absurd when we moved into the community, and girls were dropping out of school because of period poverty, because they couldn't afford pads. And at least each school had registered about 5 to 10 girls who had dropped out of school because they lacked pads. Because what normally happens in those schools, girls remain at home during their period. They don't come to school, and at the end of the day, they drop out. At the end of the day, they are given away by their parents at an early age. Most of these schools do not have water. Most of these schools lacked information, most so with the senior women. They are what we call senior women in schools. And then senior men also. The senior women are supposed to take care of girls' welfare. They are supposed to counsel. They are supposed to look after the young girls in these schools. But these senior women are not empowered. They are giving out wrong information. They are not empowered at all to give out the appropriate information to these girls. We also found out that the leaders in 𝗵𝘃𝑔𝑖 district were not that bothered to address menstrual injustices in their community. They only focused around a few things. They only looked at education. They didn't focus at factors that are hindering these girls, factors that are causing dropouts in these schools. We engaged the religious leaders and we got some commitments. We got solutions that are suitable to most of these challenges that we saw during our engagements. We made the communities, the schools, and the leaders to design outcomes, to design solutions that they can easily implement. The religious leaders also, committed to creating safe spaces in the places of worship, near mosques, near churches, and also we had cultural leaders. We had traditional healers who also promised that they are going to create safe spaces for these girls. They are going to always come to trainings. When we carry out trainings, cultural leaders promise to always embrace and come and be eager to learn so that they can also implement them in their traditional way of doing things. We got commitments from leaders in 𝗵𝘃𝑔𝑖 district local government, and we had the inspector of schools of 𝗵𝘃𝑔𝑖 district who also committed that they are going to make sure that they champion and make follow-ups to address all menstrual injustices.
Hi,
We
Ismail.
also,
I think you have about a minute to go. If you could wrap up and share and continue sharing. Thank you.
okay, thank you very much. We built self-esteem for these girls to always seek for necessary services when they're in their menses, and we promised and we encouraged leaders to always attend all engagements so that they can handle such issues. Thank you very much. I'll react later.
Thank you so much, Ismail Ssentongo from 𝗘𝘀𝘂𝗀𝗃 Kasome Foundation, for sharing with us how you have been able to advocate for menstrual justice here in Uganda. It is such an honor and privilege to have a man advocating for women's rights when it comes to menstrual justice. Thank you so much, Ismail. And then we are going to have our last panelist of the day, who is going to present from Awesome Minds Initiative, from Awesome Minds Speaks. Please, Esther Nachanzi, please come and take the stage and share with us what you have prepared for us today. Her profile is being shared on the screen. You can read, you can have a quick read through, and as she gets ready to present. Esther, are you ready to present? Hi, Esther.
Yes, I'm ready. Hello.
please share with us how you are using mental health advocacy to be able to achieve menstrual justice in Uganda.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I am Esther Nachanzi, not Nakazi. I'm Nachanzi from 𝗷𝗂𝘀𝘀𝗶𝘃𝗀𝘀 Speaks. And 𝗷𝗂𝘀𝘀𝘀𝗶 Speaks is a youth-led and youth-serving non-profit organization focused on mental health advocacy, awareness creation, information dissemination, and linkage to services for young people in Uganda. And just to share on what 𝗷𝗂𝘀𝘀𝘀𝗀 as a youth-led and advocacy mental health on menstrual equity or menstrual justices. For us, we managed to go in a community here in Uganda, and hello.
Yes, Esther, we can hear you. Please proceed.
Okay, thank you so much. We managed to teach young girls and women where we implemented our menstrual justice project with the support from 𝗖𝗓𝗍 Institute East Africa. And we get to know what actually among these young people in basically Jinja district, 𝗵𝘂𝘁 sub-county, which is a most populated district with a lot of injustices and a lot of yeah.
Hi, Esther, are you still with us?
Sorry for that. I think the network. I was just sharing that we managed to reach out to young people on menstrual justice or menstrual equity in 𝗵𝘂𝘁 sub-county, which is in Jinja district here in Uganda, East Africa. And we got to know that this specific county or in Jinja district, it is characterized by, a lot of young mothers, a lot of, school dropouts, mostly in girls or young women, and young mothers. It's characterized with a lot of young mothers, a lot of child labor, and HIV among young people, which is rampant. And once we did our outreach on mental health combined with menstrual health, we got to know, and also students or young girls and young women got to share with us what menstrual equity looks like to them, like having clean water to use while they're menstruating, mostly at school, and also have access to menstrual products like tampons, reusable sanitary towels, and all the products which we used by young people or women while they're menstruating. They also told us that menstrual equity or menstrual justices is, for them, it's having clean separated toilets, and also having clean toilets, and also having areas where they can dump their used sanitary towels, which wasn't there where we did our outreach. So on the case of the menstrual injustices, we got to find that there are a lot of menstrual injustices like culture norms and taboos, where we got to know actually within our last activity we had from one of the culture leaders, who said that it is not okay for a girl child at home to ask for menstrual products from their fathers, that it showed that a girl asking menstrual products from their fathers, it's just demonizing the gender, the male figure, or the father who is leading in the community or in the family. Like you minimizing or you belittling the male figure, that they should ask the menstrual products from their mothers, not their dad. And just because the society lack awareness, education about what it is really, what menstrual justice is and menstrual injustice is, due to these cultural norms and taboo. And if a girl child is denied this access is, being chased away from, you don't have to access these safe products from me, you have to go and access them from your mother. It creates a lot of, anxiety and stress, of which 𝗪𝗲 Minds is very focused on, how these injustices in all sectors, mostly in menstrual injustices or inequity, affect young people's or young girls and women's mental health. So we got to know that some of also girls, due to a lack of access to safe products like pads, tampons, they actually use powdered or flour. We got to know that these young girls and women, they use flour to, to pad themselves. So once the flour is, they feel like it is getting less, the blood is getting into it, they excuse themselves and go and add on more flour. It doesn't matter either it's meat flour or it's millet flour, but we got to know that they use this flour because they lack access to safe products, and also some of the products are very, very expensive, like they cannot accommodate them in this area, and which is very unhygienic, which can lead to a lot of health issues among young girls and young women, like for example cervical cancer and all. So we got to know that also the how to manage the menstrual injustices among these young girls, mostly those who have just got their first menstruation. They didn't know how to manage them, and they asked for support. So if they get support to know how to manage mostly the menstrual cramps, which always come, so that they don't lose their concentration while in school and while in classrooms. And these young people, or young girls, all girls and young women, they also advise us or recommended that for them, menstrual justice is what it looks like. They also urged that the senior women teachers and the senior male teacher, they get to reach out. In case they reach out to them, they should always reach out to them with empathy. The fact that most of them, it's their first time and they don't know how to handle it. And also the family background, most of them, they feel more easier to talk to the teachers or to some of the community members about their menstrual cycles or menstrual process than their families. The fact that, as I told you, that one of the culture leader told us that it is not proper, actually it is improper for them, a girl, to ask a menstrual products from them. They're supposed to ask it from their mom, not a dad. So that is things we tried to reach out, that is actually injustices, because if you deny a young girl or young women such services, and also you don't want to listen to them, it creates a lot of stress within them, and they most of the time lose self-esteem due to the fact that people recognize like menstruation as a dirty and impure. And in society where we are, a menstruating girl is not supposed actually also to sit in the same table. Like for example, if they're having lunch, a family lunch, if you're in menstruation, you're not supposed to sit there due to the cultural taboos and all the stuff. And those are mostly the menstrual injustices. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Esther Nachanzi from 𝗪𝗲 Minds Speaks. That is a great way to debunk the myths and misconceptions around menstrual hygiene and for advocating for menstrual justice here in Uganda. Thank you so much. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank all our last three panelists. That's great job done, well done. And in our chat box, I can see some questions. And for those who would like to react to our panel discussion, please share some emojis, share how you felt about the discussion. Still, you can type it in the chat. But so far we have around 2 questions. And I would like to ask Patricia to come and respond to some of those questions since she was our first presenter. And the first question here is, let me get to the questions. Patricia, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
We have questions here. So we have so far 2 questions that are shared in the group, in the chat. One person asked, I've been hearing you speak about menstrual equity and menstrual justice. Could you please elaborate more about what that means?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, our dear panelists, and thank you for this question. So when we are speaking in our context, we feel that if there is inequity, that means someone is not accessing what they deserve. And I'm going to speak more to menstruation. Right here, we are on this global platform. We are speaking and we are sharing. It's because we have internet, we have laptops or phones, and we have a network. We were approached by the Purple Feminist group because they saw us and they believe in us. So that means that we are accessing. But we also know there are people who are not on this group or platform because one, they are not aware. So if they are not aware, it's an iniquity because they should be aware, they should be informed. Everyone should understand these important discussions. Others don't have, they don't have phones, others, they don't have network, others don't have data to buy the internet and connect. So it's as a result, it's we feel like this is like not really just to them because they would want to be part of this. And so when we are looking at menstruation, when we are looking at menstrual injustice, we are saying that it is an injustice because a woman should know about her menstruation, should be informed about her reproductive system, how she's menstruating. Right now, I've been menstruating for like 28 years. So I want to still understand my menstruation because some days I am so moody and I don't understand myself. And I have a right to understand everything that is going on. So that is menstrual justice. Menstrual justice is ensuring anything to do with your body, with your mental, with your physical, emotional. You're informed, you can access the resources, and because menstrual justice is ensuring that you menstruate happily, maximize every need, enjoy yourself, and you can't work alone. You need resources, you need people, you need to be informed of this global conference where you can learn something or two. You need to get some funding if you're running an organization, to ensure that other people reach. We have our panelists, especially Esther has spoken more to how some people don't want women to ask girls to ask products from the men because they think that it's the women who should have these products. It's not okay. If by virtue of being a parent, you are supposed to provide, whether you're a man or not. And some parents may not provide because they don't have the monies, they don't have the resources, but you're supposed to provide. It should not be about a woman. So those are some of the things that we feel like it's not just, it's not fair, and it should be fair. And menstrual injustice, it's things that contribute to it are really many. If I'm a father or a mother and I don't have money to buy pads for my daughter, because I am poor, then that means that poverty has affected me, and it's really coming out from different areas, and it becomes a challenge. However, for menstrual equity, it's, and really I'm sharing in the best way. I'm not using technical terms because we are also like ensuring that we promote a user-friendly language communication. An inequity happens when someone in need does not access a resource. So I hope I have explained, and an example of an inequity is when I need a product and I can't access it, either because I am disabled or because I don't know I can get it, I'm poor, or so that is where the difference comes from. And justice works together with equity. Thank you so much,
Patricia, for responding to the question. Someone else had also just asked about telling them what is menstrual justice. It is the last question in the chat, but I think you have responded to it in the last remarks you have made. Thank you so much.
Maybe Elizabeth, I wanted to throw more light. In our context, in East Africa, the main challenge we face is that negative society norms, religion. Some religions don't want women to sit together because some are menstruating. We have some of these different negatives, cultural, social, and some of these norms. And that is why we've centered our advocacy around some of these areas. We want cultural leaders who push their parents, who push their communities to support women, because cultural leaders in our community are very influential. When they say something, people listen and follow them. So that is why we have centered our advocacy around that. That is where some of the issues we are experiencing are coming from. But I think it's really broad if we look at menstrual injustice. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patricia, for sharing with us those insights. Also, someone is still asking, tell them more about menstrual injustices in Uganda, but I think you have mentioned them. And also the organizers of the meeting are reminding us that we should be wrapping up now and finishing. Anyone else with a question, maybe you would like to ask more questions, please go ahead, feel free. Still have some more time left, very little time, but you can ask. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I just want to quickly say that if we have any question left, I'd be happy to connect with 𝗖𝗏 directly. Due to the time limitation, the allocated time for the section has been completed. If that's okay with the speakers and moderators, we'd like to invite the breakout room to the main room and then continue another section, if that's okay. Hi, Ismail. Oh, sorry, John. Hi.
Patricia,
Yes.
one more question. Someone is asking you to tell them how different or similar is menstrual justice and menstrual poverty. Maybe you could explain that in just a few words. That question
maybe
comes
in
from
3 minutes.
Tim from Aeronet.
Kaka, would it be okay to wrap up in 3 minutes? Because we need to sort of continue other one. John, if you have a question, maybe you can message and then we'll give it into consideration, take it into consideration. Thank you. And Patricia, can you explain about menstrual justice, period, equality, and that 3-word, the question was asked in the chat.
Can you hear me? Okay. Am I audible?
Patricia, maybe you can respond that to that in the chat box, because the breakout sessions are closing in the next 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you so much. I think I'm going to share in the chat box, but I basically wanted to share that period poverty is linked to the economic aspects, because you do not have access to, you do not have monies to buy these products, you do not have money to access healthy facilities. It's mainly around the economic bit. And menstrual justice is quite broad. There is having these things, but you have not taken even an initiative to ensure that someone accesses this information. There are people who have products, but are you creating that networking, that partnerships to ensure that people access have an understanding of where these products are. So usually menstrual justice is something that can be worked on with awareness, with understanding, but poverty, it requires a lot. It requires enough monies, it requires not necessarily monies or resources, but it requires an upper hand, a hand of the government to come in and support and different people. So it's how best I can explain it, but I'm going to to share it in the chat box so that I am not like really rushing to create more clarification. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patricia. And thank you everyone for attending on behalf of 𝗖𝗓 Institute East Africa. We appreciate you all for taking time off and attending this conference. Thank you so much.